Welcome to Module 11. We have only 2 more to go here, and you've been hanging in for this long ride, and there's so much information to absorb, and you should be very proud of yourself. And you're putting up with me and all my idiosyncrasies and opinions, and I hope that in the middle of it, you'll be able to extract some good points and strategies that are going to help you. So in this module, we're going to be talking about hair and skin and hormones and perimenopause and menopause. Module 11, what to expect when you're losing weight. This is the 11th puzzle piece, part of our big puzzle here. And lesson 31 is hair care tips, strategies for thinning hair during weight loss. Maybe you've experienced this already when you've been on weight loss journeys in the past. I had thinning hair at various times, probably 3 or 4 times. One time when I was on birth control, and a couple other times when I was going through a move or really stressed. Well, when I was losing the last 50 pounds of my 80 pounds, I was losing about 1 to 2 pounds per week. I lost a lot of hair, and it just started coming out more and more. It was on the floor a lot. It was in my brush, a big handful of hair. It was very discouraging. I didn't like putting my hair up in a ponytail or anything because it felt like about half of the hair. It lasted for about 3 or 4 months that I started losing that hair. It was very discouraging. Thankfully, I was part of that Facebook group that I mentioned before, and I just searched in there, and a whole bunch of other people had this problem, and they basically said, wait it out. You know, once you reach an equilibrium and you aren't losing weight so fast, then it will be fine. Now, I don't recommend that you go backwards from a pound a week, because it's just going to stretch it all out. So I recommend going through this hard time. Maybe you'll be lucky and you won't lose your hair. You can go ahead and take collagen powder if you want. I tried it for about a week. I don't think it found any difference. I didn't like taking it, but I knew that eventually my hormones would regulate again. And I trusted all these other people who'd gone through it too, that your hair is going to come back. And sure enough, in the last 2.5 years, since I've maintained this weight and I'm healthy, eating the 1 ingredient foods, I have never had in my whole other lifetime so little hair coming out of my head. I'll comb it when it's wet, I'll comb it when it's dry, and there's hardly anything in my brush. It's amazing. So I have never had such thick hair, and hair that's just staying in place. I don't see it on my pillow. I don't see it on the floor hardly at all. It's really, really amazing how my hair has gotten thick. So that's a benefit of getting healthy, and maybe the intermittent fasting plus the low carb. Because I did them together, I can't isolate one and the other and see which one would have worked. Maybe if you just tried the intermittent fasting, didn't go low carb, maybe your hair would come back to fullness after you lost the weight. I'm not sure. This is just my experience. Then my story that I'm sharing with you of what I went through, what to expect. Expect maybe your hair is going to get thinner. It's going to fall out more. Your body is saying, what's going on? When you start to change your diet and change when you eat and not snack anymore. And so it's not worth stopping. I would never ever go back and say, no, I didn't like those 3 or 4 months when my hair was falling out. Like, that was just a small blip. And that's why I'm trying to share with you these things to expect. It's something that you might experience, but it's worth going through it. It's worth enduring that, because out the other side, if you're eating really healthy, you're going to have thicker hair, and it's going to be a better situation than not losing the weight just to avoid the thinner hair for a time. I did want to just tell you a quick way to save money if you're interested. For the last 4 years, I've been cutting my own hair, coloring my own hair, curling my own hair, and I've saved a whole lot of money. So when I was starting to lose the weight, I was noticing I was getting more white hairs or gray hairs, and I didn't like that. I didn't feel old enough to be having gray hairs. And so what I did is I figured out a way to cut my hair on my own. I Googled it, looked on YouTube, learned how to do it, where you literally put all your hair up in a ponytail, a really tight ponytail, and then you cut it off at the top. And I do it about 3 times. So I take out the ponytail, I put it up again, and pull it really, really tight and cut along the top. And when you let it down, then it layers if you want layered hair. So I've kept my hair a little bit to the long side so that it's easier to cut on my own, and it doesn't take very long. And if I want shorter bangs, once it's cut, I can always just shorten them up there. So you can Google how to cut your own hair. There's more and more videos coming out about it. So that saved me money. Coloring my hair is saving a lot of money. In the 80s, we spent money on perms, but basically we would have our friends give us perms a lot of the time. So it wasn't a lot of money, but it was a hassle to perm your hair. So now I'm starting to color my hair, and it was getting expensive for a time. And so I figured out how to not have to make it very expensive. So I went and I got one of these caps, and it's in a box. It's for highlighting hair. And when you first get it, it has all these little black circles. But the more you reuse this and reuse it, all the black comes off. And so I just reuse this, and I do it about every 2 months. I just did it yesterday, so you'll notice from one video to the other, my hair's a little bit blonder. I like the variety, and I can choose which type of hair color I use, whether it's more blonde or more brown. I've had so many perms in the past which burned. So I've already been hard on my scalp in the past. I like this because it doesn't actually touch your skin. If you buy the box for highlighting, then they include one of these, but it also works to have a tiny, tiny crochet hook. You can have a friend help you. I just, do it myself, and I feel for where those holes are, and the holes get bigger, but not too big that it allows the solution to go through. And then I just take a box of hair coloring, and I found one that hardly has any smell, which is great. And I only use half of it. I only mix up half the solution, mix it together. After I pulled all the pieces out that I want, I put it on, leave it for 45 minutes, wash it out, and done. So it's only half the price of a box every 2 or 3 months. So it's around $60 a year to color my hair, and I'm not getting the solution on my skin. So it saves time. It only takes about 45 minutes or half an hour, 45 minutes to pull all the hairs through. If you had somebody helping you, it could go faster. So it saves time. It's cheaper. It's working great for me. Yeah, I've been doing it for almost 3 years now. Then I curl my own hair, and I've been curling my hair since 1982. Long time that I've been curling my hair. My hair is naturally very straight, and I've never liked it straight. And growing up, being in the 80s with our perms, I so much got used to seeing my hair curled. Now I figured out how to curl my hair with a flat iron. This one is fantastic because it's really hot. I don't have it on the hottest setting, but it goes so much faster. I can curl my hair in under 10 minutes. So if you don't have the money for it, or you don't want to take the time to go to the hairdresser, those are just a few quick tips if you're interested, and maybe if you have hair similar to mine. So going back to the topic of thinning hair, don't worry about it while you're losing it. It's going to come back. Your body will regulate. Your body will get used to the weight you get to when you reach your goal weight, and then it will come back, and probably come back fuller, especially if you are eating the really healthy foods. So don't be discouraged. You can get through this time, and just know that there's other people who've gone through there, and they've found success on the other side. In the next lesson, we're going to be talking about skin. There's actually 2 lessons where I talk about skin. The next lesson, we're going to be also talking a little bit about perimenopause and menopause and some issues that go on with that. So it's skin and a little bit about hormones. So hope to see you in the next lesson.